Serious, what's a secret that you have that will probably die with you? I hate the fact that my girlfriend is too nice. I feel like we can't argue properly or have that nasty sex I so often crave because she is just too sweet and innocent. She is absolutely amazing and our life together is brilliant and I will probably spend the rest of my life with her, but sometimes I just wish she would get really mad at me or at least have an evil glint in her eyes. That since I turned 13, I've been getting raped by an older girl, and just recently, she added harsh and brutal beatings into the mix. I'm 14 now, and she's 16. I doubt I would get far even if I told anyone. I know males can be raped, but I feel like such a chump for letting that happen to me. I am super lucky to have been super close to my wonderful and caring mother my whole life. I lived with her from the time I was born until she died when I was 26 years old. She was the glue that held our family together. She was there for anyone and everyone. Family parties and holidays were civil because of her. This isn't a big secret, but it would break hearts. She outwardly loved everyone and secretly hated about 80% of them. The secrets I was let in on also ruined any affection I had for most of them. It's amazing what she did for her mom, my grandmother, to keep the appearance of her happy little family together. Now the family is in ruins. TL, Dr. Mom kept the family together for my gram and hated almost everyone. Edit, spelling. I might suffer from schizoaffective disorder. The main thing is that I might suffer from hypersexuality too, and it becomes more frequent during some of my manic episodes. I don't know if I have the disorder. That has made me do some pretty crazy shit. I've had multiple affairs with people older than me and even had sexual encounters with multiple people at a time. This has included relatives in my family. I've also seen some pretty scary things with the people I have had my affairs with. Most of which I'd get in trouble for just speaking about. I'm a teenager. My mom is a hoarder. When I got old enough to go away for weekends, but not move out, I would have panic attacks when I got home. I would usually sit outside and let them pass. One time it got so bad I had hives everywhere, my legs went numb, my mom called 911. I told her it was due to a cat allergy, and I told all the doctors to not tell her anything. She is too mentally fragile. My cousin's is adopted. And the weird thing is, he always brags about being the firstborn grandchild and leader of the family. Also, his older sister is adopted and everyone knows. He makes comments like she's a part of the family, but since she's not blood related, I'm the oldest grandchild. I don't think I was ever supposed to find out this secret. I'm a very nosy person, and one day I was looking at everyone's birth certificates, doing natal charts, and noticed I couldn't find his until I came across adoption papers. I fully intend on changing my name, phone number, credit cards and moving to a new country when I leave my parents' house. My family is a complete mess and have always made me feel worthless, but I know that they would always track me down and make me be a part of their lives if I left anything they could use to find me. It sucks because I want to still be a part of my mum's life, but you can't really have it both ways. I plan to kill myself before I become too old to care for myself. I've seen people turn into vegetables, unable to wash, dress or feed themselves. They need carers to wipe their backside for them. No way am I going to let that happen to me. I'd rather go out on my own terms. A police officer off duty physically intimidated me by backing me into a counter. I had bruises on my spine and my lower back is still messed up, and forced himself on me, basically coerced me into letting him rape me. I just pretended to be into it so he wouldn't see my fear and smell blood in the water, so to speak. He slapped me so hard my ears rang multiple times. He tore something in my shoulder, maybe a tendon. Something is going on with my neck since that happened, no idea what. He lifted me off the ground while choking me and holding my hands behind my back, wrapping an arm around my neck/collarbone area and arching his back while behind me. I remember hearing something crack. The pain didn't hit till I got home. I spent the next 3 days crying hysterically, First because the pain was some of the most intense I'd experienced, and then because it slowly dawned on me how not okay it was as I replayed it in my head over and over. I don't blame myself, but I am sad, and the world feels a little more hostile. I'm just waiting to die. I would never kill myself as it would destroy my husband, but I'm pretty much done. Achieved all my goals. My anxiety about the world is tiresome and I am honestly looking forward to it being over. I have made many questionable choices in my life, and I am very open about sharing them. But one in particular I am too ashamed of to tell anyone. When I was a teenager I was very shy and closed off, and it was hard for me to make friends with people who didn't have some kind of an ulterior motive. I was very, very lonely. At one point I made friends with a boy that I thought was pretty cool and interesting. He was really into history and knew a lot about other cultures. One day he agreed to ride the bus from school to my house. We hung out for a while just sitting outside talking. After a few hours he said he was going to head home, and he enjoyed hanging out. I really didn't want him to go, so I told him that if he stayed a little longer, I would let him see my boobs. He did not respond positively. He said no and seemed offended and saddened that I would offer that. I was immediately extremely embarrassed and ashamed, and I think we only hung out once after that. If that boy happens to be reading this, I am so sorry for how gross and immature that was. I hope it didn't have a lasting effect on your perception of people. My mother emotionally neglected me as a young child, and the only time she'd ever show me exclusive attention is when I would get hurt or sick. My abusive yet chronically ill now dead brother was her priority. So, one time I broke my wrist and got a cast for the first time. It was orange because it was Halloween time and my mom put pumpkin stickers on it. She took me out to lunch and to the gift shop to get a toy. Once all was said and done, the exclusive attention subsided. In my deeply distorted brain as a young child yearning for her mom to pay attention to her more, I would purposely break my wrists and ankles. I voluntarily broke my bones 6 different times in 2 years. My mom also didn't question it either, as she was too high on opioids to raise an eyebrow about my excessive bone breaking and one cast after another. It was Christmas a few years ago. I was 16. My mom accidentally left the back door open while trying to air out the house, and my grandmother's dog, an 18-year-old dog, had fell inside the lake. My mom felt terrible. The dog had passed away. And on top of that my grandmother's husband was already in the hospital. Everyone was devastated. My mom felt so guilty. She had asked my grandmother if she could air out the house and she said yes. So I lied and told my mom that I remembered her closing the door, and I had opened it again when my brother sprayed Febreze everywhere. That part was actually true. He had sprayed Febreze everywhere. Of course my mom believed me. I don't think I'll ever tell her that she actually opened the door. That I spent one night in a 24-hour McDonald's, because I was too scared my now ex-husband would kill me. That I have a secret code word only I know for if ever time travel or whatever exists, so that there are 2 consciousness of myself. Probably will never use it, but it's good to have. In the day my grandpa died I was in my room that is upstairs. He was stung by a hornet on the head, and it caused a heart attack and some serious allergic reaction which caused death in less than 5 minutes. I heard something. I heard him. But I didn't know that these few sounds I heard was him. It was real tragedy to whole village. Everyone knew him. Such a sweet man. Always an amazing handyman. Really, there was nothing he wouldn't know and do. And I didn't save him, my aunt, grandma and a neighbor for whom I ran during a downpour wearing only socks, rescuers who went to us almost an hour, didn't save him. Almost 3 years after I still blame myself for it the most. Maybe if I ran down before, maybe he'd still be with us. Using my throwaway. I used to work at an investment bank. However, to get the job I had to do a variety of assessments which among others included an Excel financial modeling test. Now I'm quite experienced with Excel, have built lots of complex financial models, But what this task involved was to make some corrections to a very poorly built financial model, not intentionally bad, just whoever did it didn't know their stuff well. They leave me in a room with a laptop to complete this task. I open up the spreadsheet and have very little idea where to start. This is just making no sense. As I'm scanning through the tabs desperately trying to find things I'm able to do, I notice something saved on the desktop. Some previous candidate's attempt was accidentally saved there. Well, I opened it up and started copying what that guy had done and added a few tweaks of my own. I ended up getting the job. This isn't as dark and heavy as a lot of the content here, but this is still getting spread with the ashes. When I was about 10, I created a fake account on an interactive website to fuck with my friend, and she ended up falling completely in 10-year-old love with this made-up avatar boy named Charlie. It got to the point where she was so invested in this I went to the lengths of creating a Yahoo Messenger account so they could message and send pictures to each other. This went on for, in my 29-year-old memory, at least a year. I spent so much time creating this fake persona that to this day, about 20 years later, she still brings up how mad she is that his parents made him delete his account and he never tried to find her again. She still refers to him as her first boyfriend. R.I.P. Charlie. Also R.I.P. my moral/ethical code in 2002. I feel like this is why children cannot be trusted on the internet. And B, I am very gay now, having had mostly female partners in my teen/adult years, and I think this may have been my first expression of that interest. C, there is a chance she has a flip side to this story where she knows everything and we are both too far gone to ever confront each other about it. I lied about my first time having sex to everyone and still do. I was 18 at the time, and my friends arranged a dinner/lunch/party with cake every time someone lost their virginity. I hated the pressure and felt that my virginity suddenly wasn't my own business anymore. So I lied and said I had sex with a make-believe guy at a house party, had the cake and felt great. My virginity was solely my business again, and I don't regret doing this for a second. In reality, I had sex for the first time at 21 when I felt ready with a guy I felt safe with. Had great sex and a great first time. This is no one else's business but mine, so I don't feel the need to tell anyone. This is not a big secret, however a secret that has helped me greatly. We married early, at 20. Though we were not planning to start a family so early, my wife was pregnant a few months later. We happily spread the news as soon as her doctor confirmed the results of the home pregnancy test. Her family, okay, it was mostly her two sisters, were giddy with excitement. It would be the first grandbaby for her parents. She miscarried around the 10th week. We were devastated. Her family was supportive, but heartbroken for us. What they do not know, what no one else knew as far as I know, is that she fell pregnant again a few months later. This time we had talked it over and were actually trying. But we didn't want to tell anyone else so early this time. The plan was to reveal the pregnancy once she was safely into the second trimester. She was killed by a drunk driver about 9 weeks into her second pregnancy. It is more than 25 years later. I am married and have 2 amazing stepchildren. God, I hate the term stepchildren. They are my kids, but I never had a biological child be born. I sometimes wonder if I missed out somehow. Would I love a biological child more than my stepchildren? And I feel terrible for thinking that way. In the 6th grade I used to practice tying a noose. When I mastered it I used to stand on a stool in my room and put it around my neck, but I always ended up talking myself out of it. Until the beginning of 7th grade when I finally stopped doing it and decided to just suck things up.